Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Josh's Tech Bites. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Lian O11 Dynamic XL case. This is the ROG edition. So we're going to open this up. We're going to take a look at it and see what you guys think. Alright, so first off, the Lian cases. I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see this. On the back side of it, you've got two screws, two thumb screws. Unscrew these, and for the Dynamic XL version, at least this version anyway, it has a clip right here. You're going to push that down and pull to remove the top, and that's it. Then you can get all the side panels off just by removing those two screws. So I'm going to go ahead and lift up and take off the side panels and then the glass panel. And these all, by the way, do have mesh filters for your fans. Keep it nice and clean inside. You've got a mesh filter on the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you this on the bottom before we go any further. There's actually a mesh filter down here. This is an improvement from the original O11. This one slides out, whereas the other one you would actually have to turn the case over and pull the magnetic filter off the bottom. But I really like the improvement that they've made here. So we're going to go ahead and lift this side panel off, and I'm going to lift the front panel off. And I'm going to set these aside for now. Alright, as far as inside the case goes, you got your motherboard tray here that you mount your motherboard to. Of course, your grommets like any other case. Expansion slots, and then there is a side mount as well, a vertical mount for a GPU. If you do vertical mount your GPU, you are going to lose some of these expansion slots, so just keep that in mind. On the bottom, we actually have a panel that pulls out. There's actually two screws that go in right here towards the bottom, but I've went ahead and removed those just for time's sake. And this is what you'll mount your fans, your bottom fans, and your radiator. If you have a second radiator, you'll mount it there, and then that just clicks into place, and you replace your two screws. You can also mount a radiator in the top, and these are 360mm radiators. You can mount 360 here, you can mount 360 here, you can mount 360 on the side. So what I'm going to do is actually have an EKWB distro plate, and I'm going to mount here. I'm going to mount a radiator here and a radiator here, and have two radiators and a distro plate. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the case around, and we'll take a peek at the back. Alright, so on the back of the case, we actually have a panel right here that you can mount hard drives to. There are two screws, which I've already removed here at the top. There's two topmost screws. You don't have to remove those, but you have two screws at the top, and you have two screws at the bottom. And after you remove the screws, just give it a nice little jerk. So I don't pull the case over, but give it a nice little jerk. It has two clips that clip in at the top, and then you can mount SSDs, hard drives, whatever you want to this side. And you also have some SSD hard drive mounting spots here, and those clip out. You have two clips on the inside, and then you can mount SSDs front or back, however you want to do it. Typically you're going to mount it to the back side because you don't really want to show that off. And then to replace it, same way, reverse, just push it in. And they actually include a couple of extra of these clips in case you break some. Things happen, we know. One thing that they do include are these hot swap bays, which I don't think is absolutely necessary because I don't think a lot of people are going to be using those. 90% of the people that I know probably won't. It is a nice inclusion, but I would like to see Lian make that optional, just because most motherboards now have several NVMe slots, and you're really not going to see a lot of people using 3.5-inch hard drives anymore unless you're running a RAID in the system. So I really would like to see them make this optional like they do the GPU riser bracket, the vertical mount bracket, because you can really cut the cost down on the case, because I mean this is extra cabling, this is extra metal that you can leave out of the case that you can bring the cost down, because this is going to be a lot more attractive at like $179 or $189 versus $229, $239. So I would really like to see them just make this optional. I really don't know why they won't, since they've made the GPU vertical riser bracket optional. So just a little side note there. So on the back side, you have, like I said, you have these hot swap bays, and you have to remove this thumb screw at the bottom before you can actually pull the hard drive slots out. They're not true hot swap bays unless you have, you know, hot swap capability on your motherboard. They're just an easier way to put in your hard drives. But like I said, most people aren't going to be using those anyway. And these are fully removable. There's 4 screws that you'll take out, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, and then the whole case just kind of comes out. And then you can mount your power supply wherever you want, top, middle, bottom. I think most people are going to mount their power supply on the bottom, but just a little note there. So one more thing about the back is we do have a 120mm fan mount right here on the side, which is nice. Especially if you're mounting your fans on the bottom, because you're bringing in the cool air from the bottom and expelling the heat out the top. Since heat goes from, you know, floor to ceiling, you're definitely going to want to bring your cool air in from the bottom and out at the top. But if you want to get some fresh air in through the rear just to get a little bit more airflow, this is nice to have. And lastly, let's take a look at the front I/O. We have our on button, we have our reset, we have our 2 USB 3.0s, we have headphone in, microphone in, USB-C type connector, and then some manual controls for the LED strip that's on the front panel. And then we also have an extra 2 USB 3.0 ports at the bottom, which is a nice inclusion because you can never have too many. All right, so for accessories with the case, they don't give you a whole lot. I mean, you don't really need a whole lot. They give you a few Velcro ties. This is a GPU support bracket, you know, to help avoid GPU sag. I do advise you use that if you do not vertical mount your GPU. You got some rubber feet to kind of help, you know, cushion some places. There's some extra motherboard risers, and you've got some spare clips. So if you break some clips, whatever, you can replace those. And then these little clips slide on the GPU bracket to help with your sag. And then lastly, you've got your hard drive screws, and that's it. All right, so that's gonna do it for this one. Let me guys know in the comments below what you think about this case. Maybe some of you already have it and are already using it. Let me know if there's any issues that you found, maybe some things you think they could do better or change about the case. So that's all for now. We'll see you in the next one.